Let me actually ask some very academic stuff, because we didn't really go back there, but you talked about the settlement mechanism, the trust mechanism, and so on. Explain to us exactly how the technology works that you're actually doing that settlement, please, Bill, and also how that works in relation to, I mean, you're Singapore regulated, and therefore it's presumably absolutely the gold standard of regulation, as is everything in the city-state.
Well, interestingly, in Singapore, carbon credits are categorized as intangible commodities, and as such, they don't fall under the purview of the Monetary Authority of Singapore. So we actually spent a lot of time and a lot of money trying to get the MAS to regulate the exchange, but the most we were able to get out of them was a no action letter, basically saying, you guys are fine, you're doing what you're doing well, and you're not specifically being regulated. The regulator, interestingly, for commodities in Singapore is Enterprise Singapore, and we have obviously our first grant when we set up AirCarbon actually came from Enterprise Singapore. So, but the trust structures very much fall under the purview of MAS. So all client funds sit in US dollar accounts, and those US dollar accounts are managed by an MAS regulated trustee, and that sits bankruptcy remote from the exchange. All of the client carbon credits also sit under a bare trust, which again sits bankruptcy remote from the exchange. So we've been very careful in creating an infrastructure that protects buyers and sellers. In terms of how this actually works, probably the best way is just to take you through sort of the process quickly. If you have a carbon credit and you want to sell it on our exchange, the first thing you need to do is go through a very onerous KYC and due diligence process. Once you clear that, you then show us the carbon credit that you want to sell. If it meets the specifications of any one of our contracts and you agree to put it onto the exchange, we then send all of that data to the British Standards Institute, and they do a second check to ensure that carbon credit fits the specification of the contract. Only then do we allow the credit to be transferred into the trust. And when it's in the trust, then we create a digital receipt on the exchange. Now, this digital receipt we built the entire exchange on the blockchain. And so every trade that happens within a smart contract, which means it's a self-cleared transaction. There's absolutely no need for any clearing brokers because there's no settlement risk. So if you go onto our platform and you press sell, you get filled immediately, and there's absolutely no lag between the buy and the sell because it all happens within a smart contract. So that's the architecture in a nutshell.
What would the process be of listing carbon credits and tokens on other exchanges or jurisdictions with various levels of adoption of regulatory standard? And actually, I can't help but notice, Bill, you're coming to us today from London, which is definitively not part of Singapore.
No, yeah. Well, we actually we just announced that we're launching the exchange platform in Brazil. We have a very significant presence in Abu Dhabi, and we'll be launching there as well. We're following basically a model where the exchanges are all connected. The order books are connected, but the exchanges are very much localized. And each one of those jurisdictions will fall within the regulatory framework of each particular country. With regards to trading carbon credits across platforms, obviously trading carbon credits across platforms within AirCarbon is very easy, but we actually see trading of carbon across exchanges that may compete with us. So if our price is either higher or lower than one of our competitors, then we will see carbon leaving our exchange and going to our competitors or vice versa, which is excellent, right? Because that's the hallmark of an efficient market, and that's what we're all after.